Stupid Google keynote. Oh, here we go.
I'm going to try and make this short and sweet because I'm actually in the public. I'm in Barangaroo Park and there's lots of running people about. I wanted to really quickly cover off the Google event that happened this morning at 3 AM, which I was up for like an idiot. So they talked about AI being that it was going to be everywhere. They talked about Google Home. They actually announced Google Assist. So I think, or Google Assistant. So they announced this back at Google I/O, way back in, when would that have been? April, maybe, I think. And it's going to be similar to Google Now. So you're already aware that Google Now supports natural questions and stuff like that. It's going to increase that more. They're also going to try and introduce things like wavelet text-to-speech. If you don't know anything about that, I'll put links in the description. It's kind of like a physics-based thing. It's kind of quite cool. The Google Pixel they announced, but Carphone Warehouse already leaked that. For those of you that are really interested, it's Qualcomm Snapdragon 821, 4 gigs of RAM, 5-inch screen or a 5.5-inch screen for the XL, HD screen or a quad HD screen. So it's alright. It's fucking expensive as shit though. It starts at $649 for $649 US for the really, really tiny model, but it goes up again. Like for I think it ends up being something stupid like 1,400 Australian dollars, which is stupid. It's just crazy. But it's a very, very expensive. It's a very expensive phone. It's a very expensive device, and it's not really worth it. Like it's super ridiculous. So I'm not really gonna advise you go out and buy it, considering the OnePlus 3 exists and it's so much cheaper and it's so much better. They claim that the camera is really good, and the battery supposedly good as well. So there's like I think you can supposedly charge it up to I think it's 7 hours in like 15 minutes, which I'm very doubtful of because it's not. I don't think the quick charging is actually going to be that good. So we'll kind of see how it goes though. They also announced Daydream View, which is kind of quite cool. It's like made of like jeans and shit, so it looks kind of quite good. Also announced Google Wi-Fi, which is like a mesh kind of version of Google On Hub, which is kind of alright. Which, in actual fact, the Google Wi-Fi mesh thing is pretty impressive. It's like $129 for one. That's USD, and it's like $299 for two. And it includes, so what happened with the On Hub? It's kind of similar to that. Includes mesh, includes like a really fancy app, and it's really, really impressive. I have to say, I'm quite impressed with it. And I would get one. I will get one once I get my internet sorted because it'll be really, really cool. Chromecast Ultra was also announced. That allows you to do 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision. It's also got an Ethernet port inbuilt into its adapter, which is pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to bother upgrading though, because I haven't got a 4K TV yet. I haven't got an internet connection that can support 4K at that kind of speed and resolution. So I'm kind of in two minds as to what to do about that. It also starts at only $69, so it's pretty cool and impressive for something that can do 4K. They also touted for Google Home. So Google Home was announced at I/O and it looked really cool. The problem I have with Google Home as a general thing is it's basically a Chromecast in like a fancy body. There's nothing funky going on inside in terms of hardware, but it looks nice. It's got a swappable bottom. It's supposedly got good speakers. Wouldn't be surprised if those speakers are actually terrible. But it's a good kind of like alternative to something like the Amazon Echo or possibly, well, even Sonos for Christ's sake. I mean, especially if the speakers are actually decently good. Includes YouTube audio, supports external services like Spotify, which is great. Also supports Google Cast. If you really, really want to cast audio to those specific devices in every room, you can do that. Includes daily summaries, so you can get daily summaries if you get a good morning to it and stuff like that, which is really quite cool. Includes natural search, and it is only $129 USD, which is pretty impressive, I have to say, for a device that does all that. And it's actually cheaper than the Amazon Echo and the Amazon Alexa, which is quite good. They also announced Actions on Google, which is kind of so this is a developer thing, so it allows you to have access to the Google Assistant API, which is kind of quite cool. So if you've got like a Raspberry Pi or something like that, you can actually program shit using the SDK they've announced, which is quite good and quite cool. And also they ended the live stream superbly quickly, way too quickly for what it actually was, which is super annoying. So it just like said, oh, we're going to say goodbye to the live stream, and just ended abruptly for no real reason. I think the biggest thing is going to be AI. I think Google being the forefront of AI is cool because they do natural search. Now, obviously Apple have been doing some natural search stuff with Siri, and also Microsoft have been trying to do it with Cortana, but I think Google will actually nail it. And if they're going to embed it into things like Google Home and things like the Pixel, and maybe introducing into things like and using Wi-Fi, Google Wi-Fi to kind of power the whole thing, including that with Google Chromecast and things like this, it's going to be quite impressive. I'm actually going to have to stop it here because it's getting incredibly windy, and my arm is also aching like a motherfucking bitch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will put find the links in the description below for everything I've covered in this little bit. Apart from that, I'll catch you in a later video. I'm getting some pretty odd looks for being out in the middle of Sydney. Apparently people don't enjoy people being on the phone. I get really odd looks.